Welcome to Module 4 on phonology. The difference between phonology and phonetics is that phonetics studies individual speech sounds and how they're articulated and described. Phonology studies speech found in use, and it's the interaction between sounds across stretches of speech. The key ideas in phonology that we're going to discuss is phonetic constraints, natural classes, minimal pairs, allophones, complementary and contrastive distribution, and phonological rules. The phonetic constraints are the constraints in a language that dictate the ways in which phonemes can be arranged to form syllables. There's limitations on what sounds can occur together and what sounds can occur in certain positions. And these rules are all in all languages, but they differ from language to language. So, for example, in English, ng, like at the end of sing, cannot occur at the beginning of a word. Triple consonant clusters at the beginning of the word can only occur in the combination of S plus an unvoiced stop plus a liquid or a glide. So sprint, split, splint, scream. A natural class is a set of sounds that share a certain phonetic feature. For example, voice sounds are a natural class, nasals are a natural class, fricatives are a natural class, bilabials, back vowels, alveolar stops. Whenever a group of sounds can be grouped together and be given a title based on their occurrence in the IPA chart, that is a natural class. A minimal pair is two words that are identical in pronunciation except for one sound that occurs in the same position in each word. So, lime, rhyme, bean, scene, cat, cab, tad, dad. We use these minimal pairs to test contrastive sounds, so we can figure out whether a sound is contrastive in a language or if it's complementary in a language. A phoneme is the set of all allophones or individual non-contrastive speech sounds. So contrastive means there's a significant difference in sound. So for example, T and D in English, T and D, those are contrastive sounds. Those are two different phonemes. We know this because there's a minimal pair, tad and dad, which are two different words in English. So we know they're contrastive sounds. Allophones are linguistically non-significant variants of each phoneme. So they can be non-contrastive, meaning they don't cause a difference in meaning in a language. So for example, the t in till and the t in still. In English, the aspirated T, the t, and the t don't change the meaning of a word. If you had a word that starts with the aspirated T and one that just started with T, they're not in contrastive distribution in English. In other languages, they might be, but in English, they are not contrastive. So in English, again, and p are allophones of the same phoneme. An aspirated P and a P occur in complementary distribution. This really means that you could use both of them in the same word, and it might sound funny to a native speaker, but it doesn't differentiate the meaning of a word. It doesn't change the word. Whereas P, P, and B, B, are two different phonemes in English. They're contrastively distributed. If you had a word pat, and we changed it to bat, those are two different phonemes in English, and it would change the meaning of a word. There's different phonological rules, and they're further explained in your book with lots of different examples. So assimilation is when sounds are near each other and they become more like their neighboring sound. Dissimilation means two closer adjacent sounds become less similar with respect to some property, maybe voice, maybe bilabial, any different natural class. Insertion is when a segment that's not present is inserted at the phonemic level. Deletion is when a sound that is present is deleted. Metathesis is the change in order of a sound. Strengthening makes one sound stronger, and weakening causes a sound to be weaker. So please look in your text as you're reading and look at the different examples for this. Now you're going to try these example problems on your own and look ahead to the answers. So they'll talk about natural classes, and there'll be a phonological analysis, which is difficult, but follow the steps and you'll really understand how to determine whether two sounds are allophones of the same phoneme or allophones of different phonemes. And if they are allophones of the same phoneme, you'll learn how to write the rule for when each allophone occurs in the language. Let me know if you have any questions or concerns.